Charlie's wasn't random. It was scheduled.
He set it up in a way that, like, okay, you're saying something that's actually factually inaccurate,
right,
according to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird shit going on with this.
I know.
Really.
I almost texted you when the Charlie Kirk thing happened because my antennas went up about, they showed the photo of that kid, or the guy that they have, the 22-year-old,
yeah,
whatever. And I was almost gonna be like, dude.
This kid had a rifle with a scope. Now, here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like, it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle. There was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place. And then he did this at this thing. Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child porn right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child porn.
Didn't say it outright, but the internet heard it anyway. A single podcast clip, a couple of cryptic likes, and boom, timelines erupted. Tonight, we're not declaring what's true. We're unpacking what fans say they saw, what creators claim they heard, and why one quiet moment has the whole web buzzing. Did you catch that pause? A viewer DM'd our page while another insisted. That look said everything. Emotions ran high as reaction videos stacked up, dissecting Joe Rogan's careful wording and Elon Musk's minimalist replies like they were pieces of a secret code. Comment sections split in two, with one side swearing a bigger story is brewing and the other calling it pure coincidence. And right in the middle of it all sits the most sensitive thread. Talk swirling around Charlie's widow, mentioned, speculated about, debated, but with zero official confirmation. Don't blink, a clip creator warns. You'll miss the tell. We're not here to decide what happened. We're here to trace the shockwaves, the whispers, the clipped quotes, the dramatic pauses that fans turned into headlines. Because when silence starts trending, every breath becomes a clue. And tonight, viewers say the clues are everywhere. It began like a ripple, small and almost harmless, when a short clip from Joe Rogan's latest podcast started making rounds on social media. At first, no one thought much of it. Rogan was talking in his usual calm tone, leaning forward, eyes slightly narrowed, the kind of look he gets when something doesn't sit right. He mentioned Charlie Kirk's case. That unsettling story everyone thought had already faded from headlines, and said there were too many inconsistencies, too many things that didn't line up. His voice was measured but heavy, as if he was choosing each word like it might explode if handled wrong. He said quietly that he had almost texted someone the moment the news broke. That was all it took. The internet froze. Who was that someone? And why did it sound like there was more behind the words than he was saying? Within minutes, fans clipped that exact moment and spread it across platforms. The slow blink, the faint smirk, the slight shift in his tone. All of it became evidence in an online storm. People posted side-by-side comparisons of Rogan's expressions from different episodes, claiming his body language gave him away. Some swore he knew something deeper. Others said he was just stirring curiosity, a master at keeping people hooked. But the real shock came when Elon Musk entered the conversation without saying a word. A random account tagged him under one of those viral clips, asking if he'd seen it. Elon's reply was only 6 words. The truth cannot be hidden forever. Those words hit like a lightning bolt. Timelines flooded, hashtags exploded, and suddenly, everyone was convinced this wasn't coincidence. Overnight, what was once a casual podcast segment turned into a global theory factory. Viewers slowed down the clip frame by frame, claiming to hear subtle background sounds or whispered cues. Conspiracy accounts on X stitched together timelines connecting Rogan's comments, Elon's tweets, and even older posts from Candace Owens. Her name came into the mix when someone noticed she had recently liked a post questioning the official reports about Charlie's case. Then, as if on cue, she went live for just 2 minutes. Calm, composed, and almost cryptic, she said only this: Some things take time to reveal themselves. And then she logged off. No details, no context, just that one line. Those 6 words became the fuel that sent social media into total chaos. The next day, it was everywhere. Creators uploaded full breakdown videos dissecting what Elon meant, what Joe hinted at, and what Candace implied. Theories spread like wildfire, blending rumor and imagination into something almost believable. Even mainstream outlets couldn't ignore it anymore, posting headlines that read things like, "Internet goes wild over Elon and Rogan's exchange," while carefully avoiding the word truth. Fans started digging through old podcast episodes, connecting small phrases that seemed meaningless at the time. One user claimed that Rogan had mentioned hidden messages in media weeks before Charlie's incident. Another pointed out that Elon had once tweeted about silence being a form of speech. Those fragments became puzzle pieces in a growing online mystery that no one could solve, but everyone wanted to. Amid all the noise, the emotional side started to surface. Fans of Charlie Kirk began to post heartfelt messages under old clips of him, mixing grief with confusion. "If what they're saying is true," one user wrote, "then he tried to tell us something before he was gone." Others warned that speculation was getting out of control, urging people not to disrespect the family. But the more they asked for calm, the louder the frenzy grew. Some claimed Charlie's widow had been silent for too long, that her quietness meant she knew something. Others defended her fiercely, saying she deserved peace, not scrutiny. Emotions ran high. Friends of the family posted subtle messages about respecting boundaries, but those posts were twisted into fresh fuel for theories. The internet once again had blurred the line between empathy and obsession. Then came a strange twist. Someone unearthed a small clip from an old Rogan interview where a guest mentioned private notes connected to an influential figure's untold story. Within hours, fans connected that to Candace Owens' latest comments, claiming she was referring to those same notes. People started using the term "the diary," a mysterious object that supposedly held the final words Charlie had written before his passing. Nobody had seen it. Nobody could confirm it existed, yet it became the centerpiece of every discussion. TikTok detectives zoomed into screenshots, claiming to see a handwritten page on Candace's desk during her last live stream. A few swore they could make out the words "trust" and "truth." That was all they needed. Hashtags like Charlie's Journal and Trust Notes began trending worldwide, and the speculation reached a fever pitch. The drama didn't stop there. A user claimed to have received an anonymous DM containing part of the supposed diary, a blurry image of handwriting with the line, "I don't know who I can trust." It spread instantly. People compared the handwriting to old autographs, matching slants and loops. Amateur analysts joined in, uploading videos explaining what each stroke meant psychologically. One claimed it showed paranoia and isolation. Another said it revealed guilt and fear. Mainstream journalists dismissed it as digital fabrication, but the audience had already made up its mind. By now, every move from anyone remotely connected to Charlie Kirk was under the microscope. When Elon liked a random post saying secrets always find daylight, it was treated like a global announcement. Screenshots flooded every platform. The silence from those involved became louder than words. Through all of it, something deeper started happening. The internet wasn't just talking about Charlie anymore. It was talking about itself. Creators debated whether the frenzy proved how fast misinformation spreads, or if it showed people's hunger for truth in an era of silence. In podcasts, commentators questioned whether Rogan had intentionally sparked this, knowing exactly how people would react. One theory claimed he and Elon were testing how fast narratives form online, a kind of social experiment on mass psychology. Another said Candace was using the mystery to expose bias in media reporting. Every theory contradicted the next, but none could be dismissed because every fragment looked just plausible enough to hold attention. Even when fact-checkers stepped in, labeling most claims as unverified, the audience treated that as further proof of something hidden. Nothing could stop the story now. The strangest part was how personal it all started to feel. People who had never met Charlie began arguing like they were part of his inner circle. Families debated at dinner tables, group chats filled with speculation, and influencers went live to break down the truth. It wasn't just a news cycle anymore, it was a digital obsession. Everyone wanted closure, but closure never came. Rogan didn't address it again. Elon didn't clarify his tweets. Candace stayed silent, her last post a cryptic, "patience." That word echoed through feeds like a riddle. People refreshed her profile hourly, waiting for the next sign, the next clue. Even those who didn't believe the story couldn't look away. It had become a shared suspense, a collective addiction to unanswered questions. And just when it felt like the storm might be settling, something small reignited it all. A background sound in Rogan's original podcast, barely noticeable before, was amplified and uploaded by a fan. They swore it sounded like a faint whisper, maybe someone off camera saying a name. No one could prove it. But within hours, millions were replaying the audio, slowing it down, looping it endlessly. Every little sound became a hint, every silence a statement. The mystery had taken on a life of its own, and the truth, whatever it was, seemed further away than ever. The whisper was all it took, one faint sound hidden beneath Joe Rogan's voice, and the entire internet lost its collective breath. Fans uploaded hundreds of versions of the same clip. Some slowed down, others filtered for clarity, all claiming to hear something different. One group insisted it was a name, another said it was just background noise, and a few argued it sounded like someone sighing under their breath. Still, people couldn't stop listening. Creators played the clip side by side with Elon Musk's old interviews, trying to spot a connection. And when Elon liked a meme that said, "The quietest sound can shake the loudest room," chaos exploded again. It wasn't what he said. It was what he didn't. Within hours, threads popped up claiming Elon was hinting at something deeper. Some users suggested the like wasn't random at all, that it happened exactly 30 seconds after the viral clip hit its peak on X. Timelines were made, matching Rogan's pause, Elon's like, and Candace's earlier post about patience. It became an elaborate digital jigsaw puzzle where everyone thought they were close to solving it. Journalists started writing opinion pieces about the psychology of online silence, and talk shows debated whether Elon and Rogan were deliberately feeding the frenzy. Meanwhile, fans were convinced something huge was unfolding right in front of them, something the mainstream refused to touch. Candace Owens returned to the spotlight just when curiosity reached breaking point. She went live again, sitting calmly in front of a soft-lit background. There was no makeup team, no dramatic entrance, just her and her voice. "People keep asking me if I have proof," she said softly. "But what they should really be asking is why proof keeps disappearing." The live chat exploded instantly. Heart emojis mixed with question marks and angry faces as hundreds of thousands tuned in. She didn't show any notes, didn't reveal a thing, just spoke slowly, deliberately, as if choosing every word to sound both innocent and dangerous. "Charlie wrote about trust," she continued, "and the people he couldn't give it to anymore." That sentence alone sent the internet into overdrive. Fans flooded comment sections with clips of her expression, insisting her eyes said more than her words. And then she did it again. She smiled faintly, leaned in and whispered, "You'll understand soon." Then the screen went black. No outro, no follow-up. Nothing. Just silence. The live ended so abruptly that fans thought their apps had crashed. That 5-second clip replayed millions of times across platforms. It wasn't just another rumor now. It was theater. The way she ended it felt scripted, but no one could prove it. Viewers described feeling a chill, like watching the final scene of a mystery movie where the main character vanishes mid-sentence. It was eerie, addictive, and perfectly timed. Within minutes, the hashtags exploded again. The trust note, Candace shocks live, Charlie was right. Even Elon Musk's name trended with them because someone noticed he'd followed 2 new accounts related to independent journalism. Speculation ran wild. One post said, "It's happening in real time," while another replied, "This is bigger than anyone realizes." Comment sections turned into debates, half the people calling it performance art, the other half claiming it was coded communication. The frenzy got so big that even mainstream outlets like CNN and Fox ran short segments summarizing the strange viral mystery connecting Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, and Candace Owens. Each report ended with the same line: "No verified evidence has surfaced." But that didn't matter. The audience wasn't looking for proof anymore. They were chasing the thrill of the unknown. By now, even Joe Rogan's team couldn't ignore the speculation. When his next podcast aired, viewers tuned in by the millions waiting for a reaction. The episode started normally. Casual jokes, usual laughter. But every time he paused, people held their breath. Halfway through, one of his guests asked, almost jokingly, "You've seen what they're saying online, right?" Rogan chuckled, leaned back, and replied, "Yeah, it's wild what people come up with." He didn't deny anything, didn't confirm anything either. The room went quiet for a moment and Rogan's tone softened. "Sometimes people hear what they want to hear," he said, looking right into the camera. Fans took that as confirmation. Within seconds, clips of that line spread everywhere with captions like, "Rogan finally admits it." Influencers analyzed his every blink and smirk, claiming it was his way of hinting at something he couldn't say outright. TikTok creators uploaded emotional montages showing Rogan's past moments of truth-telling alongside his new silence, turning him into an accidental hero of transparency. Others mocked the chaos, calling it proof that audiences will build entire universes out of a single pause. But the divide only made the story stronger. Then came another twist. Candace posted a single blurred image on her X account. It looked like part of a notebook page, cropped tightly with only a few legible words. "Too soon," "mistake," and "trust." She didn't explain it, didn't caption it, but everyone recognized the handwriting style from old photos of Charlie Kirk's notes during his speeches. The post shattered the internet. Fans claimed it was from the rumored diary. Skeptics argued it was fake. Handwriting analysts flooded comment sections comparing loops and ink density. Even psychologists joined in, explaining that the slant in writing reflected deep anxiety. It didn't matter what the truth was. People had already decided it was real. One podcast host said, "Candace just dropped the proof," while another countered, "She's manipulating a grieving moment for attention." Both clips went viral, fueling new rounds of outrage and curiosity. Even Elon stepped into the chaos again, liking a tweet that read, "Truth hides in fragments." That single like set off another firestorm. Commentators joked that Elon was orchestrating the internet like a conductor, using only his likes as instruments. Others took it seriously, building entire threads about coded digital communication between powerful figures. Throughout it all, one person stayed completely silent: Charlie's widow. She made no statements, no posts, nothing. Her silence became its own storyline. Some fans defended her privacy, saying she deserved peace. Others questioned it, asking why she hadn't addressed any of it. That tension turned her into a ghostly figure in the narrative. The silent center of the storm. Content creators began crafting speculative videos about her life. Her expressions in old photos, even her jewelry choices, as if every detail hid a message. Late one night, a small podcast claimed to have received leaked messages showing correspondence between Charlie and a close friend days before his passing. The messages, they said, hinted that he felt watched and betrayed. They blurred the names and read parts of the text aloud in a shaky voice. Though nothing could be verified, the clip went viral instantly. People connected those words to the ones in Candace's blurred image. Trust, too soon, mistake. It was all too perfect, too poetic to be coincidence, and that made it irresistible. As the storm grew, so did the emotional toll. Fans posted sleepless updates, saying they couldn't stop refreshing their feeds. Influencers admitted they were addicted to the mystery. Even ordinary users began acting like investigators, comparing timestamps, reconstructing digital trails, and linking every pause, every like, every word. The line between reality and speculation completely vanished. The digital noise became louder than any official truth could ever be. It wasn't about answers anymore, it was about the chase. And then, just when everyone thought the story couldn't twist any further, Candace appeared again. This time not live, but through a mysterious audio clip posted on her story. It was only 6 seconds long, soft background music, her calm voice saying, "He wanted to tell you himself." No explanation, no follow-up, just that one haunting sentence. And that's where everything began to spiral again. The audio clip spread like wildfire. It was only 6 seconds long, but it carried the weight of 1,000 questions. "He wanted to tell you himself." Those words echoed through every platform like a riddle. People looped the clip endlessly, arguing about tone and meaning. Was Candace referring to Charlie? Was it metaphorical? Was it scripted? The speculation was endless. Music producers tried isolating her voice, claiming they could hear faint typing sounds in the background, maybe even a page turning. The theories were ridiculous and fascinating all at once. Someone posted a slowed-down version where they said they heard her whisper, "Check the note," though most couldn't hear it at all. It didn't matter. Once the idea caught on, it became a fact in the minds of the believers. That night, thousands of creators went live to decode the message. Digital detectives on Reddit wrote long posts, connecting her audio to Elon's old tweets about revealing hidden truths. Others linked it to Joe, Rogan's previous comment about people needing to ask better questions. Timelines filled with overlapping screenshots, arrows, and circles, as if everyone had joined the same invisible investigation. And right in the middle of it all, a new rumor broke. A claim that an anonymous source had leaked a second page from Charlie's supposed diary. The image was blurry, of course, but you could make out words like "too late" and "her silence hurts more than the lies." The internet went mad again. Fans flooded Candace's comments, begging her to confirm or deny it. Instead, she simply posted a quote. "Truth is patient." That one sentence sent the chaos into overdrive. Some said she was confirming everything. Others said she was mocking everyone chasing the story. Influencers made emotional reaction videos with dramatic music, calling it the moment the internet divided. People began choosing sides. Those who believed Candace was revealing hidden truths, and those who thought she was orchestrating a digital performance. Hashtags like "Nacho Truth is Patient" and "What the Trust Lines" started trending globally. It wasn't just gossip anymore, it was culture. Memes, art, even merch popped up with the now iconic phrase. Truth, it seemed, had become entertainment. Joe Rogan, as usual, stayed quiet. Fans begged him to comment, tagging him in every post, hoping he'd say something. For days, he said nothing. Then, in a quiet Friday night podcast, his guest brought it up. "People think you're part of this giant mystery, man," the guest laughed. Rogan smiled, leaned back, and said, "If people want to see patterns, they'll find them anywhere." He chuckled, but there was a glint in his eyes. One of those looks that fans claimed always meant more than his words. Sometimes, he added, "the real story isn't what's said, it's what's left unsaid." That single line sent chills across the internet. He didn't say names, didn't mention anyone, but every viewer connected it straight to Candace's latest post. By morning, clips of that moment dominated every feed. Creators slowed down his expression, analyzed the lighting, and even tried to interpret his pauses as secret signals. Some claimed he was confirming the diary's existence. Others thought he was mocking the entire spectacle. Either way, he had just poured gasoline on an already raging fire. Fans posted comments like, "He knows more than he's allowed to say," and "This is all connected." Even Elon couldn't resist. Within an hour of Rogan's podcast ending, he liked a post that said, "The truth doesn't vanish, it waits." That like became breaking news. News outlets reported on the chain reaction like it was a political scandal. The coincidence felt too deliberate to ignore. As the frenzy grew, something eerie started happening. People began reporting that old posts related to Charlie Kirk were disappearing. Screenshots circulated showing deleted comments, missing photos, and broken links. Some thought it was just social media glitches. Others believed someone was actively erasing pieces of the story. A user claimed that one of Candace's older tweets about hidden hands had vanished overnight, only to reappear hours later with different engagement numbers. It was pure chaos. Fact-checkers tried calming the wave, explaining how caching and reposting could cause these discrepancies, but no one cared. The more experts debunked it, the more people became convinced that something was being hidden. Meanwhile, the emotional tone of the conversation shifted again. It wasn't just curiosity now. It was personal. Fans began sharing emotional videos, talking about how they felt betrayed by media silence. One user cried on camera saying, "They keep telling us it's nothing, but we all feel it. Something's off." Those raw moments fueled sympathy and suspicion in equal measure. Even people who had stayed out of the chaos were drawn in by the emotional pull. It wasn't about the facts anymore. It was about belonging to a shared mystery. Candace added to the storm once again. She posted a short video, not a live stream, just a pre-recorded clip. She spoke softly, almost like she was reading from a journal herself. "When people don't want you to know something," she said, "they'll convince you it doesn't exist." She smiled faintly, then added, "But truth has a funny way of showing up anyway." She never mentioned Charlie by name, never said widow, never even hinted at details. Yet the internet exploded again. Hashtags resurfaced, theories multiplied, and within hours, her video had millions of views. Fans praised her for bravery, while critics accused her of emotional manipulation. But no one could stop watching. The next twist came from a completely unexpected source. A small podcast host claimed to have interviewed someone who once worked in Charlie's media circle. The host described the guest's voice as shaky but sincere. According to this anonymous figure, Charlie had been keeping private notes about his last few weeks. Notes about pressure, fear, and betrayal. No documents were shown, no proof provided. Yet the story caught fire. Within hours, the clip was all over social media. Users called it confirmation, even though nothing was confirmed. Others said it was a desperate attempt to capitalize on the chaos. Still, the episode trended for 3 straight days. Somewhere in the middle of it all, a chilling post appeared from an anonymous account claiming to have the full diary. It said, "Release coming soon. People deserve truth." It included a grainy photo of a locked leather-bound book. Within minutes, the account vanished. People screen captured everything and spread it like wildfire. Memes turned into timelines. Timelines into investigative threads. And soon, the mysterious account became as famous as the people at the center of the story. Theories ranged from secret whistleblower to elaborate hoax. One user even claimed the account's profile picture matched a shadow seen in Candace's earlier live stream. Whether true or not, that detail alone created days of debate. Elon Musk's response, or lack of one, became the next obsession. Fans noticed he'd stopped liking any posts related to the topic entirely. That silence was treated as a signal of its own. "He's backing away," some said. "He's being silenced," others argued. Entire videos broke down the timing of his online activity, claiming to map out patterns of intent. It was absurd but hypnotic. The more disconnected reality became, the more people doubled down. The narrative had grown beyond control. It wasn't about truth anymore. It was about the thrill of chasing it. Throughout this digital storm, one theme kept surfacing: trust. Everyone was talking about who to believe, who to doubt, and who was truly silent. Podcasts debated whether Candace's repeated mentions of patience were strategic or genuine. Influencers dissected Joe's pauses as metaphors for censorship. Memes mocked Elon's cryptic tweets, turning him into a digital sphinx. But beneath the noise, there was something eerily human about it all. Every viewer, every poster, every theorist was chasing the same feeling: a need for clarity in a world addicted to confusion. It was both tragic and poetic. And then came the biggest surprise yet. One late night, when most people had stopped refreshing, Candace's official account posted a single black and white image: a candle burning beside an open book. No caption, no tags, no words. Within minutes, it had millions of views. People swore they could see faint handwriting on the open page, though the photo was far too blurry to read. That one image reignited the frenzy all over again. Comment sections flooded with new claims, some saying it was proof she truly had the diary, others insisting it was staged. Nobody agreed on anything, except that whatever this was, it wasn't over yet. That whatever this was, it wasn't over yet. The candle photo was the spark that set everything ablaze again. It was simple, almost poetic. A soft light flickering beside an open book. But for millions watching the drama unfold, it looked like a sign. Theories exploded instantly. Some said Candace had finally shown the diary. Others insisted it was symbolism, maybe even a farewell. The comment section became chaos in real time. People zoomed in on the blurry text, posting wild guesses about what it said. "The handwriting matches," one fan wrote confidently, while another replied, "Look at the burn marks. She's sending a message." Hashtags surged back to the top of every platform, and the internet once again transformed into a collective investigation room. Joe Rogan's name started trending again that same night. Fans claimed he had liked a post referencing the photo before quickly unliking it. Screenshots appeared everywhere, showing the alleged like, though no one could prove if it was real. Podcasts began airing emergency live streams. "This just keeps getting stranger," one host said, his voice shaking with excitement. Others were skeptical, calling it a digital hallucination, a sign that audiences had lost touch with reality. But disbelief didn't matter anymore. Every pause, every post, every rumor was treated like sacred evidence. People weren't just watching a story unfold, they were living inside it. The next morning, the mystery deepened when a verified journalist posted that they had reached out to Candace's team for comment and received only one reply. No further words. Not yet. That single message added another layer to the suspense. Why not yet? Was something coming? The speculation became unbearable. Commentators started scheduling countdowns, predicting when Candace might finally speak. The longer she stayed quiet, the louder the noise grew. Clips of her past interviews were repackaged as hidden warnings, with slow zooms and haunting background music. Fans analyzed her facial expressions, matching them to lines from the supposed diary. Even handwriting experts began appearing on morning shows, giving lengthy explanations about how emotion seeps into cursive lines. Meanwhile, Elon Musk returned with another cryptic post. This time it wasn't words, but an image. A close-up of a page filled with mathematical symbols, accompanied by the caption, "Some codes aren't written to be solved." No one knew what it meant, but that didn't stop anyone from guessing. Users started decoding the symbols, believing they formed initials. One thread claimed the equation represented the word truth. Another said it pointed to a date. The theory machine went into full throttle once again. News outlets called it the most bizarre viral saga of the year, while late-night hosts joked about it on air. Yet behind the jokes, there was a strange collective unease, as if everyone knew something bigger was about to happen. And then, almost out of nowhere, Candace went live again. The stream started with silence. Her face appeared dimly lit by a candle matching the photo from before. Thousands flooded in instantly. She didn't speak for nearly a minute, just looked into the camera with a faint, almost tired smile. Finally, she said, "Sometimes the truth hurts the ones who want it most." The chat erupted. Comments raced so fast the feed froze. She continued, her voice calm but heavy. "There are things written that were never meant for strangers. Some stories belong to the people who lived them." Fans begged her to explain, but she stayed vague, speaking in riddles that only deepened the mystery. "If he wanted to tell you," she whispered, "he would've." And then, with a soft sigh, she ended the stream again, abrupt, haunting, unfinished. The silence that followed was deafening. For hours, social media felt frozen. Even the people who had been joking before stopped to process what they had just seen. Influencers began posting emotional reactions. One said, "That didn't feel like entertainment anymore. That felt real." Another admitted, "It's like she's grieving in code." Her words sparked empathy in some and suspicion in others. Analysts debated whether she had just closed the chapter or opened an entirely new one. Still, everyone agreed on one thing. Candace knew exactly how to hold attention. Within hours, theories flooded back. One camp believed she was confirming the diary's existence, but protecting its content out of respect. Another argued she had been playing a psychological game, controlling a narrative she couldn't stop. A few voices urged compassion, reminding everyone that real people were behind the names trending on their screens. But reason barely held ground. People were too deep in the spiral. Joe Rogan, once again, stayed quiet. He didn't mention the topic at all in his next podcast, even though everyone expected him to. That silence became headline news by itself. Commentators called it the most deliberate non-response in internet history. Fans described feeling frustrated, like watching a movie with no ending. Memes filled timelines. Pictures of Rogan and Elon sitting silently under captions like, "They know." Some said the mystery had turned into a mirror, showing how much people crave answers even when none exist. As the weekend rolled in, another development threw fuel onto the fire. A small anonymous account uploaded a short video claiming to show a glimpse of the real diary. It was shot in dim lighting, showing hands flipping through pages filled with messy handwriting. You couldn't read much, but one line stood out under the glow of a candle. "Trust was the hardest part." That phrase immediately went viral. It matched the theme of every quote Candace had shared and every cryptic message Elon had liked. Within minutes, the video racked up millions of views before being taken down. Copies spread everywhere, of course. Mirror uploads, screenshots, slowed versions, but no one could trace the original source. It vanished just as fast as it appeared. By now, even people outside the usual online spaces were talking about it. TV hosts discussed the saga as if it were a cultural phenomenon. Psychologists analyzed why people got so emotionally invested in mysteries they couldn't verify. One commentator said, "This isn't about truth anymore, it's about connection." He wasn't wrong. Across forums, strangers bonded over theories, shared sleepless nights piecing together fragments, and created entire communities dedicated to decoding what might just be coincidence. It became less about what was real and more about being part of something electric, something uncertain. Candace never posted again after that live stream. Elon stopped liking posts related to the story. Joe Rogan moved on to new guests, but the audience didn't. The videos, screenshots, and theories kept circulating, breathing new life every time someone rediscovered a clip or quote. People began calling it the silence loop, a digital cycle that refused to die. Even when nothing new happened, the absence itself became an event. Fans would say, "They're too quiet," and timelines would erupt again. The emotional toll lingered long after the hype faded. Some felt deceived, others inspired. A few realized how easily they had been swept into a story without proof. But most didn't regret it. "For a while," one viewer wrote, "it felt like we were part of something bigger, like truth was right there, hiding between the words." That sentiment echoed everywhere. The saga had blurred the line between fact and fiction, between audience and participant. And in the end, as the noise slowly faded into static, one truth remained clear. The power of silence had outshined any statement. No confession, no denial, no proof, just the shared electricity of wondering. Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, Candace Owens, and the memory of Charlie Kirk's story had together created the internet's most haunting modern myth. And even if none of it was real, it felt real enough to keep people awake at night, scrolling through shadows, waiting for one more whisper. And that's where it all stands. No final answer, no clear line between fact and fiction. Just a trail of whispers, likes, and pauses that set the internet on fire. What started as a single podcast clip has turned into a mystery that refuses to die. A story too strange to believe and too addictive to forget. Elon's cryptic likes, Rogan's measured words, Candace's haunting silences, and the world's endless interpretations have all merged into one thing, a digital storm that no one can fully explain. And maybe that's the real twist. In the end, no one actually needs proof. They just need the thrill of wondering what might be true. So what do you think really happened? Was it coincidence, calculated timing, or something deeper hiding between the pauses? We want to know what you believe. Drop your theories down below. Don't hold back. If you've noticed clues others missed, share them in the comments. Maybe together, we'll finally connect the dots. Or maybe we'll just find more questions. And if you've been hooked since the first second, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story shaking up the internet. Here on Flow Fame, we dig through the noise to uncover the stories everyone's whispering about. Because in a world where silence speaks louder than words, every like, every glance, every unanswered question might just mean more than you think. Stay tuned. The next twist could drop any moment.